Process, George, Mike.
Nice to meet you. Take care.
Wasn't that cool?
That was very cool.
All right, so,
We'll probably go another half hour.
can you stay with us?
You need to, I need her information. You text it to me.
Okay, all right. Here, send it to you. Need to do,
I was also talking to Junior.
Gilbert,
Yeah,
Gilbert?
Gilbart.
Gilbert.
Yeah, I had never met him before.
Yeah.
And we're
What
on
he
Facebook
ended
right
with
now, right?
was, what he ended with was, I think, if he develops that and pulls that out, he could make a difference. If he goes with the first part of the stuff he's talking about, it's more of the same. But the last part of it is when you start to kind of light up.
He has to differentiate himself
Mm-hmm.
from the others.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a wild race. And more people might still be, more people might still
Because
be.
they know Diane Douglas doesn't have no power at all.
Well, she said the right things in the beginning when she was running. I was behind her.
Yeah.
She got in and I don't know what the heck happened. She
Well,
just.
her and Deb Ducey just didn't clash. It made her seem weaker because she couldn't control her office.
Mhm.
And then it just got worse after that. And then she tried to pick it up near the end of the year, but by then people didn't like what she was, because she didn't get rid of Common Core.
Is the governor popular here
You
now?
know what's interesting to me?
I think
We're
it
on
is.
Facebook right now. But he, this is the first time he's gotten in trouble with this teacher thing. He's really kind of stayed out of trouble, on some
And
side.
we're still on.
But I don't see people, people, I think he stayed out of trouble, pretty much.
He stays kind of out of the fray of a lot of stuff, and he just kind of, he's doing what
And
Stanton.
he's still very business oriented, which is great and very popular among people. Do you know anybody, and the left already has their candidates. I don't think they're that great.
I do think that he's going to be primary. I think Ducey's going to be primary.
Do you know who's gonna do that?
I can't say it
Ah!
but I know of at least possibly two, but I know one for sure who has the financial backing to jump in. Self-funded, crazy money.
Ooh, strong headed?
You know Stanton? Well, no, he's running for.
I don't know.
Chips and salsa.
Inside information. What? See, this is the kind of stuff I put on the Facebook page. I break this kind of stuff. I'm sharing it with the Chips and Salsa post because I just happen to be in Phoenix. I got it like that. Even though I'm in Tucson, I know what's happening up in Phoenix. What? That was a trick question. Is he popular? To get out of something out of them before I drop my bomb on. You see the reaction? Oh,
See how it
we're on
goes.
Facebook. What?
Let the salsa chips fall where they may.
That's them.
Rod,
Let the chips fall, like that one.
yeah. Well, and full disclosure, I do have to be careful because I'm actually a registered lobbyist. So the only reason my boss lets me do this show is I stay more national issues. So, but we interview candidates, they do stuff like that. I try to stay out of trouble.
Oh, I don't want to get going. No. Our lips are sealed.
They're sealed.
Well, just like the.
Don't worry, I was doing the show full time, don't worry.
Just like the Kelly Ward thing, there's gonna be some bombshells at the end of the year for that too. I know.
Kelly Ward. It's going to be a wild election year.
Because Kristen Sinema's running against her, plus there's another Republican coming up.
Who do you hear is coming on as far as Republican?
Ah, George. George, remember you're on Facebook.
Oh!
And you know who's gonna be?
You know for
Said it too
sure.
loud.
And you know who's gonna
George
be?
say it too loud.
He said it loud.
George.
George,
This comes.
do you know for sure?
I talked to the.
Cross your heart, hope to die.
Ah,
You're crossing your heart, hope to
See,
die. I don't know.
ooh, know what? No, I've heard something similar,
Because it was
But-
the opposite,
but
but
that will never ever work because they'll be seen as the establishment.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Thank you,
it's
thank
not
you,
gonna
thank
work. They could jump in. They're gonna get. If they do that, they get nothing.
I don't know.
It's gonna hurt, yeah.
All right, 10 seconds. I think we'll do like maybe 15-minute segment or something.
Yeah, a couple
Something like
seconds
that.
maybe.
Something like that.
Can you stay with us till 5:30?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Rock that funky joint. Let's see. I did that one already.
Today's hit music. The best music. Central City Radio.
Like, okay, so I'm really confused because like my dad's Latino and my mom is white, so does that mean I can only listen to like half of Chips and Salsa?
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anything.
Ah, Julian, thanks. You played one of
Just
my favorite
half.
rejoiners.
Half of chips and salsa.
Half of Chips and Salsa. We have another half kind of Chips and Salsa show coming up. We don't always do this, but it's very special because today, I'm outside, by the way, and Don Jorge is on the other mic.
Don
my co-host,
Jorge, a lot of
back from his long vacation of
Yeah.
working. And today we have a really special guest. We have our good friend James T. Harrison.
How you doing? How you doing? You know what? Your show is like my show. The real action happens on the commercials. I mean, if you're watching Facebook, you heard some very insightful political discussion going on, right? Absolutely. And then the show starts, and we just go back to talking about boring things.
Never boring with the beautiful man, El Hombre Hermoso. Hey, I also want to give kudos to the man behind the controls, Julian Allison. Julian Allison is owner of Central City Radio. If you want to do a show like this, you can do it too. I mean, you see us up here. Anybody can do this stuff and have fun. Very affordable. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. CentralCityRadio.com and check him out and talk to him. Shoot him an email. Also behind the Facebook camera is Sonia Seeger. Always does a great job. She's our producer. We throw so much stuff at her, and she still takes care of us. We're so happy and lucky to have her, aren't we, George?
Yes. I want to mention Mega, hashtag Mega, nationwide. It's on your window
Look at the
behind
sign.
you. We've teamed up with them. They hold rallies and events, Making America Great Again, our president, and also for first responders and military. I want to do a shout out to Susan Trindell. She's listening. And we have James T. Harris on our show today. I should have invited you, Susan. Next time he's on our show, I'll definitely invite you.
Okay. I'm going to confess to something. See, I had that car accident a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to confess to accident brain because I had booked James T. and I thought it was next weekend because I was going to plan this big giant promotion. with
Big
him and everything.
surprise, huh?
So when he called me, I'm like, okay, yeah, go ahead and come in. It's all good. So I apologize to our audience.
And I had a terrible car accident years ago, and can totally relate to your brain being scrambled.
Thank you.
It's like at the time I was a professional speaker. I had a gig in a different city, and when I was supposed to be on stage, I was actually in Milwaukee, in Lake Michigan, standing with my feet in the water. I'm just standing there with my feet in the water. I'm just looking at the beautiful, and I'm like, what? And my phone rang, and I was supposed to be 90 miles away on stage. And it's because, and there was a couple other incidents like that as well, but one day, the fog lifted, and I knew that I was never going to experience that again. But you got to give yourself a little bit of space because you had a traumatic accident. Things got juggled around in there, and so it's like I call it the fog. And one day it'll lift, God willing.
Well, I appreciate you explaining that because, between that and menopause memory, I don't know. I'm going to be all messed
Yeah, I can't
up.
speak to
I'm all
menopause.
messed up. I hope you can't speak to
Yeah, menopause
Yeah,
memory.
but no, it's all good. Thank you so much, really, for coming in and staying a little extra time.
Absolutely.
This is a great opportunity, George, because, people don't always have James T. on their show for a half hour to ask questions.
Well, we had asked him about the Cocotazo Award. Did we ever announce who was going to get?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
gave it to the
Yeah.
wannabe
The-
cowboy.
The
Cowboy. Wilson.
Cowgirl.
Congresswoman, what's her favorite, Wilson, who tried to criticize the president. She politicized the death of a soldier, is what she did, and it was
That's so
despicable.
sad. That was despicable.
And then I stole from
agree
him
with
because
you
he
100%.
uses that term ass hattery. So I says ass cowboy hattery. Which, you come up with the best stuff, man.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us, your YouTubes that are getting millions of hits. What's the biggest one you've had so far?
The biggest one I had was after President Trump said to the NFL, "Get that son of off the field." And I said, I did a video where I'm like, look, tomorrow, if the NFL players take a knee, because you knew that all the discussion, the NFL, they were hurt. You were reading about discussions in the locker room, or what are they going to do? And I said, if you guys take a knee en masse, NFL, rest in peace. It'll be over. I said, you will alienate your fans to the point where they will walk away from football. And the next day was when they took the knee in England, the Jaguars and the Baltimore Ravens, and stood for God Save the Queen. And that was the beginning of the protest as we know it, because it was a protest. The protest went from police officers shooting an unarmed black man and racial inequality to a protest against President Trump.
Right.
And the American people, I'm like, you don't understand what you're messing with, so don't do it. That video hit 22 million.
Wow.
22 million. Now, there's another gentleman in Tucson, his name is Brandon Tatum, Officer Brandon Tatum. He saw my video and decided, I don't need to do anything because, James T. handled it, right? But the next day, when he saw the actual kneel down, he was so livid, he went on air, or did on the Facebook Live, and I saw it, this kind of like blip started growing. And now I'm tracking about 15 million. I'm like, yeah, I got a good video. What? I did it. Oh my goodness, here we go again. And his started tracking. I called him up because I knew him from, I had him at an event, Back to Blue event. And I said, are you tracking your video? He said, yeah, man, this is kind of crazy. I'm like, you know what? You're going to catch me. Not only did he catch me, he ended up with 100 million.
Wow. That was a good video.
That was he
was
had
awesome.
a fantastic. You could feel. Once I heard it, I'm like, dude, I got goosebumps. And I'm like, you've got something very special going on. I'm like, I said, don't get me wrong. I mean, because we'll joke, whose videos were. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm kind of upset about this, but you've got something special, and it turns out he did now. Last week he left the force.
He did? I didn't know that.
He left the force, yes.
Wow.
He left the force because there's a company up here in Phoenix, I think it's Conservative Review or something, whatever. They made him an offer. They want him to produce videos for them. So
Wow.
he left his job
Oh,
and
man.
ended up getting paid more. And the amount of money they pay for his
Oh, the hits.
sites. I'm like, are you okay? What's the number? What? But no, he's great. He's doing great.
Oh,
All he has to do is still, make commentary, social commentary.
It's so well deserved though, because coming from the
Mhm.
police department and doing that. So now we got to get him on the show too. See?
You know what?
He's awesome.
I'll make sure that you get in contact with him, and he'll gladly do it. He's just the most gentle,
You're still number one with us.
nice. That's okay. That's fine. He's voices like this. His millennials who are Americans of African descent. There's the young woman out there, Red Pill Black. She has a series called The Myth of the Coon. And it is so edgy and so on that I want to help support voices like that. So I use my station or my show on 104.1 KQTH, and I showcase these people. And he's right in my own backyard, but he and others like them, who are people of color, and they're speaking conservative, true conservatism.
It's powerful.
It is.
It is so powerful.
It is.
I want to tell the audience now. I listen to you because I have the app on my phone. I have the TuneIn app, actually, is how I listen, because you can get all kinds of radio stuff on there.
Mhm.
Just like you have the Central City Radio app, which is awesome and great. And I just encourage people to do that. If you have never, ever listened to James T., I want you to you can go to it's 1041kkth.com
Mhm.
website,
Mhm.
and you can just listen to a little bit of his podcast from any show, any hour, because really, he's got it all. He's edgy, he's smart. You were a former history teacher, right?
Correct.
For a long time? And he engages the audience. A lot of talk show hosts are very good. They're more of a lecture type format. But James T. it actually engages the audience. He gets great calls from all over the country, actually all over the world now. You're in virtual syndication. Talk a little bit about that and some of your, they're getting to be regulars on the show now.
Yeah. Lulu from
Yeah.
the UK, and they stay up at night and listen to the show. You know, I think there's I'm in Arizona, 8-hour time difference.
Yeah, at least.
They stay up at night to listen to the show, and they become regulars. And they talk about how there's no other type of show like this over there. So they tune in. You know what? I'm humbled by it. But again, it speaks to the power of social media. When I first started to talk to you guys, I'm like, hey man, you should utilize this platform, because what it does, it feeds into your terrestrial, it feeds into your .com, but you just get a little bit wider reach, and all it takes is an event to make it go boom. And for us, it was the election. Election night, we had over 300,000 people on that page. And what happened was, we were doing election results in studio, but we didn't have to have fancy graphics. We didn't have to have anchors, you know, trying to massage it. When we got it, we put it out there, and for some reason it caught on. And we were doing it with a lot of entertainment and commentary. So people started to tune in, and we were like, you know, we're waiting for the TV set to call, you know, Florida. We're waiting for the TV set to call Alabama. They're so close. How come they're drawing this out? Because, of course, they're playing their games.
Right.
But we had access to the same numbers in studio. So we just started to call it. James C. Harris calls Wisconsin for Trump. You know, we were doing, and eventually, Wisconsin went for Trump. We had the numbers in front of us. Call it. Michigan. Yolanda Weinberger calls Michigan for Trump. Because we had the numbers. And when people were somehow through the net figured that out, we exploded. And a lot of those people stayed with us.
You wouldn't have to be tied up with the fake news and follow format and say, well, we can't do this yet.
Right.
No,
Right. We just did it.
It's an amazing story.
And then if I would have turned the camera, because like, do you have a fancy computer where people doing it? No. We just had a website. A guy had a big calculator, and Yolanda's writing those down. Then he would hold up. Wisconsin just went to.
I love it, man.
Some of the breaking news. Da 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 da. Then I would come on and say something. We were having fun, but we're talking about real stuff, and that's the formula of the show. That's why I call it the circus. You're being infotained. We're giving you information, but we're not taking ourselves seriously, and we can't. Sometimes we just can't take what we're talking about seriously, because I'm in a bubble too. I mean, but the Washington bubble, they take themselves seriously. We don't.
Well, and what's good though about your show is, yeah, you are infotainment, but you are a trustworthy source though too. Because I even heard, I'll be listening to the show, and then I said, well, okay, I hear this story, and I'm thinking, I know what story that you see, and we're still checking it out to see if it's true or not. So you're not just somebody who's, oh, there's a conspiracy, boom, 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 we'll do that. You don't do that.
No. And now that people come to us as a trusted source, we have to be extra careful. We want to make sure and not get things wrong. I mean, because there's a lot of trickery going on out there. But if I do get it wrong, I go on and I say we got it wrong. We got this one wrong.
Yeah, you're honest enough about it, you know, and Julian just let me know, we're just going to go ahead and go straight to 5:30.
Okay.
He's going to eliminate commercials.
Oh.
That's how good you are,
See,
Julian.
what? Thank you.
We're just like, we're so...
Commercial-free radio. Who would have thought?
Anytime that you're here, you have an open invitation. Just
Oh,
you don't even
thank
have
you.
to call
Thank
me,
you.
just come by.
Thank
because
you.
we love having you. You're here.
Well, I love you guys, and I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing as well. And it's one of these things where the bigger you get in radio, you have to be careful not to, especially, I'm not in the same market as you, so I can come in and talk. I think I can. I'll find out later. But it's like,
I get in trouble later.
but it's like, it's a thing, because we're like friends, so why wouldn't I come by and see what my friend is doing? But I like it because I started out, actually I started out on the most popular radio station in Wisconsin, and I remember my first time out there, like, you know what, if you really like radio and it doesn't work out, you're gonna have to like go back and start from the, you know, find something else, because this is a platform. I'm like, if I don't work out, I don't want to be here. But it was naive, because I had such nice just producers and computers in a newsroom and all this stuff starting out.
Living large there.
So What I found though is I like the raw. Because I like the raw and I like the gritty because it's not polished, it's not sanitized, it's real. So shows like this, you're bringing in people that are real. I got my guy over here with the setup. I'm looking at your setup and I'm like, that's gritty. But you know what? We're on the air, aren't we? And then you have your producer here. I mean, listen, what you guys are doing right now is what I do at the Fancy Studio at 104.1 KQTH, which is a nice studio. But we're doing the same thing. My engineers, we create. That's how we got the Facebook thing going in the first place. We were playing around with stuff. Try this, try that. James, turn the camera back on your face and just talk for 5 minutes to see what happens. That's how those videos started, through experimenting inside of the studio. So you guys are doing the same thing. And that's why I just love to kind of sit in and watch you guys put it together. Scrambling around, get the product on, get out, fingers in the air. Hey, love it. Love it.
And we do. That's really encouraging to do that because, and we do. We just kind of,
Where's
you
the
can't plan
ragtag
it.
group?
You can't really plan it because something happens that day. Even the last time you were in here, I think Chuck Berry passed away, or some news story breaks. One Saturday, that's when the Supreme Court Justice Scalia was found dead. I mean, and things happen. So we have the ability to bring you that. But, you know, you're just, what I like about you, James T., and please don't forget about us when you just make it so good. So big. Alice who? Tell her I have brain fog.
I'm wearing your shirt.
Tell him I got his shirt. Please don't forget about us. But you're still, you know, you're still down to earth, and I see you out. I've had the privilege of seeing you out with your audience and when you go to speak. And he's always willing to take pictures and talk to people. You know, you share that in common with Trump because our good friend Frank Volo told us that
Yes.
he used to work in the Reagan administration. And even though at that point he wasn't a Trump fan, he said what he noticed is Trump would be out there, but he'd always go shake everybody's hand. The drivers, the taxi cab drivers, the security, everyone, he acknowledged them and treated them like a real person. And you have that persona.
Well, well, thank you. I figure if people can't come to see you, I mean, what do you mean? Even when I was a speaker, I'm the last man standing. When people come up and greet you, why would you have security hustle you off? No, it's kind of crazy. I mean, they came to see you. This is your audience. Well, that's why I'm here today, actually. I had a listener from Phoenix. I think it's so cool. You know, I kind of grabbed some of the radio people in the afternoon here.
You have a chunk of Phoenix.
So we have a little chunk of Phoenix, and a fan, a listener in Phoenix, the wife emailed me and said, my husband, he's having medical issues. He doesn't get out very much, but he's a big fan of your show, listens all the time. And he said, you know, I guess one thing on my bucket list before I see Jesus is I want to sit down and have a loaded dog with James C. Harris. He's always talking about the loaded dog.
Cool.
And she said, I know you probably won't read this, or if you're probably very busy, but I just wanted to just take a chance and ask you, could you make my husband's dream come true? I'm like, what? I'm like, not only will I sit down and bring eat a loaded dog with your husband, I'll bring you the loaded dog. So then I went down to my guy at the Loaded Dog and asked him to make up some hot dogs. Went and picked them up this morning, came on up, and we sat down and we had Loaded Dog. It's just like, why wouldn't I? Why would? When I read the email, my daughter was there. She said, Dad, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm some loaded dogs. What? Really, some loaded dogs. Plus, the dogs are so good. If you get down to some loaded dog, it's
I know, I hear you
outstanding.
talk about that.
Holy cow.
When we go visit him, we're gonna ask for loaded dogs.
I will bring
I
some,
know.
I'll make sure the dogs are there.
We need to go visit him.
Yeah, we're gonna visit him in his studio.
Do
In his
now.
fancy
I'll
studio.
make sure I clean it up before you come.
You know, the mission of
I'll
our
wear a
show
bow
is
tie.
bow tie with your shirts.
With the shirt on with the bow tie.
Wait, I'll have a James C. Harris bow tie made for you.
Oh, there you go.
Very sweet. But that, you know, one of the missions of our show, and I think it is of yours too, is the minority conservative Republicans. We don't have that much of a voice. There aren't just that many out there. So we've been doing the show. It's going to be almost 3 years next month.
Outstanding.
You know, and it's because just to give us the voice to know that we're out there. People still think, oh, you're Latino.
4 years, Alice.
4 years? I thought it was 3 years from November. It's 4
Oh,
years.
it's brain fog.
Seriously?
She heard the brain fog.
Yeah,
Brain
it's
fog stuff.
fog.
Seriously?
Right.
Well, I thought it was 3.
And what's so funny is,
I might
it's
be
not
wrong.
like, I think what's amazing about what we do is, I don't think of myself as a black conservative. I'm just a conservative.
There you go.
So I don't, we were playing around, I'm like, hey, am I on the list? What list am I on? Somebody Googled black conservatives to find out, am I on the list? And we were just goofing off. It turns out there is a list, and I'm like 65 on one of them. I'm 65, come on, can we move it up? But the thing is we do a show that's not purposefully racial.
Right, right.
If it's racial, it's because race is it's a part of the subject matter. And then my position a lot of times runs contrary to what a liberal's position would be, black or white. So that's what kind of causes cognitive dissonance for many when they bump into you and they find out that you're not an American of European descent, and you still have this, oh wait a minute, what are you doing with that Make America hat on? That doesn't even make sense. So it's like, I like the fact that when people are locked in their ways and they see somebody who is a person of color, who is a conservative, it shows you that that's true diversity. Coexist with that.
It is true diversity.
And so, but we're trained to think in lockstep. We teach our kids to think in lockstep. So the point, where they can say, well, how could you vote like that? Or you're against your people. You sold out. Really? We're Americans.
Right.
And you could be a liberal American, you could be a conservative American, a communist American, that doesn't make sense, a green American, but we're Americans, and that's where I'm coming from. So the other stuff is just flavor.
Well, I can say, from the bottom of my heart, I still enjoy tuning into your show. Unfortunately, I'm working sometimes, so sometimes I don't get to listen to the whole thing, which is a bummer. But what the really cool thing when you listen on TuneIn, I can put it on pause, like the DVR. That's why sometimes you'll be talking about something and I'll think, oh man, what did I miss? I didn't miss anything because I have it on pause.
We have the KQTH app. We also have, you use TuneIn. I use Tunes. Yours is, we had a conversation about this before.
Yeah.
Yours has more bells and whistles that are really cool that you utilize. I just want straight station. Any station, I tune in. I have like about 15 stations on my app that I keep continuously tuning into. But 1041kqth.com, as you were saying, we got a page and we have a podcast that Ross cuts up and puts together. Very talented producer in Ross. So yeah, it's yeah.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left. I have to ask you, when are you going to play Baby Girls National Anthem? I love that.
Sometimes I'm doing my show and Alex will text, "Baby girl." Then we'll bring it. My daughter sang the national anthem when she was she attempted to sing the national anthem. She's about 10 years old. And she starts, she throws it to a different octave, and then her voice cracks. She goes, And so that became a favorite drop for years.
I really love it.
I'll line it up.
And she doesn't get embarrassed by it. She's
No.
Oh, see how cool your kids are?
No.
You've done a good job with
There's
that.
some songs I can't play, but ones like that, and people were actually mad at me. Why are you making fun of your daughter? I'm like, believe me, she's cool. She's all right. She's fine.
And you have one good-looking family. I know you call your wife smoking hot.
She is.
And she is.
Yeah,
She's beautiful.
People think I'm making that up. Yeah, she's.
She all of that.
She is. She's very lovely. Very, very lovely.
Very
And I got
nice.
3 perfect kids.
You're all-
But they're all ugly as babies. I'm telling you. Everybody think the baby's cute. That baby was toe up. And the daughter, she looked the worst of all. She grew to be a beautiful woman, but she was like a Martian child, a reach.
The alien.
Yeah, just scrunched up.
Wow. Oh,
And they came out beautiful.
Yeah, they did. Thank God, they turned out beautiful. But if they would have been ugly, I'd tell them.
Yeah,
You
and
know
you
what?
would have
You
accepted
better have a
them the same way.
personality because you look like a 7 miles of bad road, a Chinese arithmetic, like a symptom of the Lusitania, and like the Hindenburg. You look like the Baton Death March. I tell them the truth. What?
Keep them humble, right?
Keep 'em humble.
Right, James, are you going to be anywhere, speak anywhere, something she knows?
No, I am. Oh, no, in Tucson, we have something called Cops and Rotters. What am I talking about? We have James T. Harris Unplugged. This is a couple of weeks coming up. It's at the Harley Davidson in Tucson, where I'll be doing some unscripted. Where I'll do interviewing a couple of cats and then putting on just a little talk and stuff like that. That's coming up in the second week in November,
Oh,
November
that's
the
great.
8th.
Well, we'll have to get you more, back to Phoenix every once in a while. I know it shows at night,
Right.
but we'll be working on that. Because
Okay.
we love having you.
We're gonna let Vera and Lori Klein know for March the 23rd and 24th, they have the Western Conservative Conference. They better have James T. Harris on their agenda.
Herman Cain. Herman Cain.
They have Herman Cain, they're invited Trump. So we're gonna talk to powers that be, and we're gonna make
We'll
sure
give her your
that
number.
James T.
Jeff
Harris
DeWitt.
is on the
Come
show.
on.
All right, so we got to finish out our segment here. Thanks so much for the extra time, Julian. Thank you, James T. Harris.
Absolutely. Thank
Love
you for
having
having
you.
me. Absolutely.
Don Jode, we're out of here. Steve Sonia,
Okay.
I'm Alice Dada.
We'll see you next
See you
week.
next week, 4 p.m. Saturday for the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio. All right.